What's up, guys? Alan checking in. Hope you guys are having a good day when you're watching this. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna go look at, try to take a look at another one of these 4Runners. So, kind of a little fun fact. I know we talked about it in the previous video if you watched it, but I did not realize how limited production the TRD Pro and the TRD off-road packages in terms of the 4Runner were, and how hard they were to find. They're literally right now, I just spent probably the last day or two scouring the internet trying to find a TRD Pro, and there literally is one TRD Pro in the whole United States that's not sold. So apparently each dealer only gets 2 or 3 at the most usually, and most of the time they're pre-sold before they even get there. So yeah, so fun fact there. So if you want a TRD Pro, you pretty much need to pre-order it. So, which I didn't do, and I'm looking to get something sooner than later. So another thing that I learned that I didn't realize was that the TRD Off-Road and Off-Road Premium are in essence pretty much the same thing as a TRD Pro, and in some cases arguably better. So they're gonna have the crawl control, the locking rear diff, all the different, off-road goodies that the TRD Pro will have. The only difference is, they don't have the Fox shocks and the 1-inch lift. The skid plate's a little bit different. It doesn't have the TRD kind of stamping on it. It doesn't have the wheels and the off-road tires. It doesn't have that little Toyota grill. But really, most of it's cosmetics outside of the Fox shocks, and the tires and wheels. So that's pretty much the only difference that you can't get. And it's about a $10,000 premium, or at least $7,000 to $10,000, give or take, which is crazy. So. And the off-road premium has an option that's only available on the off-road packages and the off-road premium, which is the kinetic dynamic suspension setup, KDSS, which is what's comes on the FJ Cruiser back in the day, all the Land Cruisers, and then the GX 460, for example. So apparently, from what I've done research-wise, and if anyone's familiar with it, correct me in the comments, but from what I understand, if you're not going to do an extreme crazy lift on it, more than 2 inches or 3 inches, for example, that the KDSS setup is the way to go. And that's going to give you a much better on-the-road kind of feel with that stiffer sway bar. It's not going to give you the nosedive or squat. It's going to give you better articulation off-road. And everybody that has it pretty much swears by it. So the downfall is that if you do want to lift the vehicle more than 2 or 3 inches and go crazy with it, as far as off-road and get long travel, suspension and stuff like that, that's where it doesn't do well. So if you're going to keep it stockish or stock, then apparently the KDSS is the way to go. It's supposed to be amazing. So we're going to go up to this dealership up the street that has the TRD off-roads, for the record, are almost impossible to find too. There is 4 right now within 100 miles of my house. 4, that's it. I'm in Chicago, it's a big market that have the KDSS on them. So in terms of the off-road premium, and the off-road premium's pretty much really close to the TRD Pro, without a lot of the cosmetic stuff. And I can add the wheels and tires even through Toyota if I want, in terms of the TRD Pro wheels and tires. I can buy the grill, the Toyota grill, which does look cool, for the record, but I think it's like 140 bucks. So, all this stuff is pretty simple. Skid plate rise, the reason it's different is because of the KDSS sway bar in the front and suspension being a little bit different, double wishbone. So that's what makes it different there. But yeah, so let's get up there. The one that we're looking at right now is a gray one. It does not have the TRD Pro wheels on it, unfortunately, but I can get them. And it does not have the KDSS on it. So what I want to do is drive it. I want to drive one without it and with it, basically, and just kind of see if there really is that big of a difference in terms of the on-the-road manners and how it really drives, right? So he does get a white one in 2 weeks, about April 22nd. He said that will have KDSS. That'll be an off-road premium in white, which would be my favorite color, as you guys know, and it will have the KDSS once again. And I was able to find 2 in Wisconsin, Madison, Wisconsin, which is about 75 miles from me, and they have a white one and a black one, which have the TRD Pro wheels already, installed on the vehicle as an option from the factory when they ordered it, and it does have KDSS. So they're a couple grand more. I think they're 46,000 versus 44,000. So but once again, the TRD Pros are low to mid 50s. So I feel like, you know, for that $7,000 to $10,000 delta or difference, we can get a lot of tires and shocks and lift kits. So let me know what you guys think in the comments, and I'll check back in once we get up to the dealership and get on the test drive and do the walk around.
That was cool. Watch this shit.
Alright boys, another dealer that is letting us take it out without the salesman. So once again, I think sports cars are different. But so this is a 2021 TRD off-road premium, but does not have the kinetic dynamic suspension setup. So here it is. So it's obviously in the gray color. Sorry if it's windy. But once again, the 2021s get the LED fog lights and headlights for the first time. So it'll be the only year in this body style for 12 years that has them. Obviously it doesn't have the aggressive tires or the Pro wheels, but we can swap those out. We can even finance them if we wanted, you know, from the dealer, if we didn't want to do aftermarket. But see the off-road badge here. You guys can see it, but I don't know, it does look a lot more basic than the Pro, that's for sure. But really guys, it's just a lot of cosmetic stuff. So let's get in this car here. It has the keyless entry, which you get on the higher end models. So it does have the what they call the off-road artificial leather. So let's see what this is all about. It smells like real leather, but they probably just put that, I think it's like a vinyl. But the reason I like this stuff versus the standard off-road with the cloth is I just think it'd be a lot easier to clean. You know, especially with the kids and the dog and stuff, and the hair and the slobber and the kids spilling shit everywhere. So I just think that even though it's not real leather, I prefer it. But we got the push button start, so let's fire this thing up here. It's got the, you know, the I think it's the 2020s and newer, maybe the 2019. They get the newer 8-inch touch screen with the Apple CarPlay and all that stuff, so that's nice. And once again, I think that's just within the last couple years, so that's a pretty nice feature. But once again guys, so if you didn't catch what I said in the last video or earlier in this video, the big reason why this is just as good in my opinion as the Pro is you still get all the off-road goodies. So we get the locking rear diff, we get the A-track, we get the stability control, crawl control, which is basically like off-road cruise control, right? And so you can't get that in any of the other models except for the TRD off-road and the Pro, the TRD Pro. So that's pretty awesome. This one's got a moonroof, which is an option. You know, I don't really care about the moonroof personally, but whatever, it's got it. I do like the gray. This is probably my second favorite color, or third favorite color. I like the white the most, and then I really like that Lunar Rock, that special edition TRD Pro color, but unfortunately we can't find one of those. And I don't know, I'm being told that the KDSS is where it's at, so this one doesn't have it, so we'll get a feel for what it feels like without it. The one that he's ordering, or they're gonna have in 2 weeks, the white one, will have the KDSS, so that'll be interesting. I'm not sure if we're gonna drive up to Wisconsin to go check out the ones that they have up there, which have the TRD Pro wheels, you know, which is nice because they were optioned from the factory like that, so which means you're not paying the upgrade to get them like I would here. And it does have KDSS as well, and it would be about $2 cheaper because they're doing a discount on top of it. So it's kind of like a $4 swing with the wheels if you think about it. So, but yeah, let's go ahead and take this thing out. So The off-roads and the pros have the actual lever, which is kind of cool, old school for, you know, getting into four-wheel drive high and low in terms of the transfer case. This one does have heated seats. And I love the rear window, one of my favorite things about a 4Runner. Hugo's gonna love that, right? So yeah, let's check this thing out, see what we got. See how it drives. Hopefully it's quieter than the old Gladiator and Wrangler stuff from yesterday. That was kind of disappointing. But let's see. So this has got the 4.0 liter tried and true. I think this engine's been out for about 12 years, the 4.0 V6. So a lot of people would say it's old technology and it's not very powerful, but for me, I kind of like the idea of having something that's been proven and been in a vehicle this long, especially a mass-produced one like this. So, you know, I've heard good things about the 3.5, the new engine that's in the Tacoma, but I've still heard better things about this one in terms of longevity and reliability. So obviously gas mileage isn't great, being an older engine, but whatever. And in terms of it being underpowered, I'll let you know what I think in a second here, but I would just throw the Magnuson supercharger on it, honestly, that a lot of the FJ Cruiser guys and 4Runner guys do. So I for sure will be throwing a supercharger on it just for the noises and obviously the additional power. But I think with one of these, I understand they can put down, you know, 250, 260 wheel. You know, I think they're like 270, 280 crank from the factory. So it would be a pretty nice improvement and probably make it pretty fun. So, but I mean, I don't think it feels slow. Let me punch it real quick here. Doesn't feel slow at all to me. Way better than that Wrangler, and supposedly I think it has 20 less horsepower, or it definitely has less horsepower. I don't know how much, but in terms of this versus the Pentastar. But so this doesn't have the KDSS, so people say it's kind of soft, you know, when you hit the brakes and turn. It doesn't have as firm as a ride as the KDSS car with that stiffer, you know, front roll bar and bigger roll bar. So we'll see what we think about that. But let me get a little driving under my belt here. I've already been blabbing for 5 minutes already. Let me get a little driving under my belt here, and then I'll kind of come back with my final thoughts on it and then let you know what I think. All right, boys, I'm back. I have to admit, that's just not as exciting driving cars like this versus sports cars that are fast, but you just got to envision me being off-road, right, and tearing it up and some dirty, muddy, you know, crazy stuff and articulation and hills and descents and all that. So that's when it gets fun. But yeah, other than that, it just feels like a regular SUV. But I don't know, man. I mean, I'd like to drive one of the KDSS cars back to back. I mean, this doesn't feel sloppy to me like the people say online. It doesn't feel soft. It doesn't feel like it squats when you hit the brakes in terms of nose diving. So I think some of that stuff's a little exaggerated. And once again, if we do want to modify it, maybe this is a better option. But and it's literally a $1,700 option to get the KDSS, which seems like a great value according to the internet. You know, once again, if you're not going to modify it and leave it stock or pretty close to stock, it seems like that's probably the way to go. But I've never been a stock guy, let's be real. Take a look at the Evo, right? So am I really going to be satisfied with just a set of tires and a 2-inch lift, or am I going to really get into this and want something more, I think, down the road? And then in that case, are you taking the KDSS off the car and retrofitting it with a standard suspension? So man, it would be really sweet if somebody watched this video and was well versed on it and could comment below. So if you do end up catching this and you guys are well versed on the suspension setups on the 4Runner, specifically KDSS, kinetic dynamic suspension, please comment below. Otherwise, I'm gonna go inside here, talk to this guy, see what he can do in terms of, you know, the Accord, you know, if I wanted to trade it in, and kind of see, you know, when he's gonna get the white one with KDSS, what it would cost to get the TRD Pro wheels. And then I make the decision if it's worth driving up to Madison, Wisconsin to get the white one, which I still think I prefer, that has the TRD Pro wheels already, and it's at 45 grand versus I think this guy wants, I think, just under 47 for his white one that does not have the Pro wheels, which is $2,200. So food for thought, right? So once again, comment below if you know KDSS, and I'll check back in with you guys probably over the weekend. Have a great day. Talk to you soon. Peace.